Hello
It's on
everyone,
now,
welcome to
right?
my channel, and this is our first game. I will now be introducing our GM.
Hi everyone, I'm Xanton. I'm the GM for today. I'll be making sure these guys have an interesting trip.
Shall we introduce everyone's characters in alphabetical order?
Yeah, that would be sensible.
Alright. Trip, I think you're first.
Balls. Alright, I'm Trip. I'm playing Erevar Winter. He is the good Eldar boy of Samhain, kind of coming with the humans to check out the world around. Don't really know what else to really say because Eldar shenanigans are afoot.
Very well, I'm next up, so... Hello everyone! I am Captain, I am Prince Edward Windsor of the Albyon Dynasty, a rogue-trader dynasty stretching back to the dawn of the Imperium. Thousands of generations have been born before me as I rule the Albyon Dynasty after the passing of my father and various other members of my family under incredibly suspicious circumstances that even I am not sure what happened. I myself am not very well versed, as literally I am currently the last of the direct line of the family, in that I have received no training, nothing at all, and my entire life involved living on a deaf world until everyone started disappearing. That is Edward, so please enjoy.
Well, I guess it's my turn. I am Angius. I am the explorator for the group, which basically is a tech priest. I mainly fix stuff or investigate, kill. It's also a pretty important one. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, next up we have Eris with Isabella Val.
Yeah, I'm Isabel Val. I'm making sure these idiots don't die as the Arch Millitant. And this is my first ever rogue trader game, so this is going to be interesting.
We'll treat you nicely, don't worry.
And now it's Hattie's go.
I am Marcella. I am dedicated to the Emperor. I have a big stick. That's about it.
Marcella doesn't have art yet, and this is Isabella. Okay then, I guess we start.
So, as you can all see on Roll20, there's the map of the Cronus Expanse. You are currently on a place called Footfall, which is roughly middle-ish of the map. There's now a big orange-blue circle there. You're beginning... Okay, you can stop with all the colours now, guys. There we go. Oh, come on! Footfall itself is a series of cobbled-together asteroids flying around a star, whose name I struggle to pronounce, but it's Thurburindus. Excuse me. It's about the size of a city, probably metropolis, and you have docked your ship, the dramatic compensation, a few days ago. We start our story in the bar called Archangel's Rest. There's a small booth. I'll bring the picture up. There's a small booth in the main part of the bar, where you're all sitting quite comfortably, if a little tightly, because it's designed for 4 rather than 5. Do you want to give brief descriptions of what you look like, or do you want to just jump into what we're going to do?
I'm willing to give a description.
I'm game for descriptions.
Hattie and Eris, I realise you're quite new to this, so if you just want to kind of describe what you think you'd want to look like, there are pictures for both of you that should help, if you want.
Marcella's picture's not up yet.
Which one do you want, Hattie? There's two.
I'll have the one when she's got the long black hair. That one.
Okay, I'll put that on now. You want to start with Edward describing himself? This bar is relatively industrial, small booth, a little metal table between you guys.
Yeah, well, one thing that Edward doesn't get, Edward is not really one of the rogue traders refinery. He is, well, if it's beer, it's beer. But Edward himself is a very reasonably tall chap. He's actually only 16 years old. He is a very young boy. He's very young, but he's very, very fit. We can tell he has quite a powerful build because he's been on the Death World his whole life. And he has an unusual quirk in that while he has fairly normal green eyes, he has white hair. There is no real particular point of this, despite me being a Mary Sue. But yeah, suffice to say, Edward has white hair which he ties back into a long ponytail. He is a fairly well-built chap, although quite lean. Definitely would look scrawny if you looked at him, but if you saw him... He's dressed in some very elaborate clothing, but he does a lot of white and very basic white and blacks, mostly. But most importantly, he has on his left shoulder, it appears to be a very faded fox pelt, orange and white, which the head is resting right on his shoulder, with coming across him like a large sash. Yeah, that's Edward.
Engineers, do you want to have a go?
Sure. Well, and what does he look like? Well, if you go to the character sheet, you looked at the picture. That's pretty much him. You know, dark red robes, a cervical skull hanging next to him. Not many cybernetics on the outside. They're mainly on the inside. And yeah, pretty much the picture on the character. That's what you get.
Okay. And what kind of thing are you doing in this bar? Are you drinking or are you chatting?
No, I'm standing in the shadows, looking, observing.
Okay.
I will point out Edward is drinking quite a lot.
Okay. Aravar?
Erevar. Right. He would be a good 6'7", so quite tall. Incredibly thin. With his helmet off, or his pointed helmet off, he would be blonde-haired, very fair-skinned. Armors of crimson, with a black robe-like cloak around him, and a wrap covering the lower half of his face that would hold the heraldry of his craft world. He'd probably be sitting in the booth where he can see most of the room around him, not allowing his long AF gun out of his hands. So kind of rested on the ground, holding on to it, but just watching everything.
Okay. Marcella?
She is. She strides in, but then she doesn't really let her guard down because she's keeping an eye out and seeing she's just sizing up the place, as it were. She's sort of she's not tall, but she's not short. She's somewhere in the middle. But she's also aware that what she's wearing kind of draws attention to her, because it's clanking and stuff. I don't know, clanking and stuff. And yeah, so she's kind of she can't really let herself relax and sort of completely unwind. She's always trying to sort of keep her she can't let her guard down, all that kind of stuff. So
Okay. And is she joining in with the booth, or is she standing to one side, or getting a drink or something?
almost like she's joining in, but she's not really letting herself kind of completely, be at ease with everybody else. But then also
Okay.
she's kind of taking the chance to just like look round and stuff, and, like keeping a look on the on every door there is in the base.
And finally, Isabella. Just kind of a general where you would be. You don't have to give a full description since it's still kind of new.
She's probably just on a wall, like, nearby, keeping an eye on everyone.
Okay. So, Footfall is essentially a trading port between the well-established Calixis sector and the almost completely unknown Coronis expanse. Quite a few ne'er-do-wells, rogues, people who really aren't the nicest, most law-abiding citizens travel through here. Speaking of which, the front door to the bar slams open, and a middling-sized gentleman with a confident and probably drunken swagger walks in. Just from looking at him, you know he's had too much of too many things, and he's not really aware and alert. He notices Edward sitting at the booth, drinking, sways towards the booth and slams both his hands down on the table. "You're the rogue trader," he says with a slur, one hand slipping from the table to his leg where his pistol is holstered. "I've heard all about you."
Well, I respond by basically, first of all, I first have both hands on my cup as I'm pouring it back, and then I gently just raise one arm, still drinking as I'm chugging back, and hold up two fingers to pretty much just tell him to hold on a sec.
His drug-addled mind barely comprehends that he's being stopped, but he waits.
I gently lower the cup, and I slam it down on the
dribbling
thing.
out of his mouth.
Ooh,
That's
God.
disgusting.
I gently finish my drink, and then I just slam the mug back down and goes, "Hello, I'm Edward. Pleasure to meet you. Ooh, are you threatening me?" I look down at the pistol.
He hasn't taken the pistol out of the holster, but his hand is now on it. "You think you can just walk in here, don't you? You and your vast crew of people. We've got laws here."
Well, I assumed I was allowed in, given the fact the open sign was on.
He sways from one side to the other, as if standing still is challenging for him. "I don't think you know what you're doing, mate. Rogue traders can't turn up to this bar."
Then why did you have an open sign?
He looks around to roughly where an open bar sign might be. Doesn't really focus on it, just kind of looks away. So, for everyone else for everyone who's paying attention to him, he does look young, angry, and unstable. He has a few pieces of tattered flak armor on him, but mostly it's leathers and just something covering his chest. He does have some weapons on him. The lance pistol that's obvious, and the sword that's by his side.
I gently turn to Aravan and just lean in and whisper, "I'm being threatened. This is so exciting."
Would anyone else like to do something?
I put my hand on my bolter and I continue gathering data.
Erevar would put his hand on his pistol, not drawing it, but comfortably in his hand, and reply to Edward, "Sir, I think he's insulting your honor. It might be best if you take care of that."
Okay, I'm just gonna like walk up to the guy and go and just say, "Have you got a problem? And is there a point to you being here?"
Marcella is gonna walk up to him and not exactly. She's got a hand on a sword, but she's not really drawing it. She's just kind of sizing up the situation, and realizes that attacking right away is going to be worse instead of just kind of like sort of taking by surprise, which isn't really the attack.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got a fair number of you around him now. As his gaze draws back to the conversation with Edward and Aravar, he hears Isabella talk to him. He goes, "I haven't got a problem. He's the problem." And a shaky arm, not the one that was on the pistol, raises and points towards Edward.
At this point, I reach into my pocket, I pull out a notepad and start writing some things down. It's like jotting down. He's not the I'm not the problem. He's the problem. Can I quote you on that? I'm just getting material for my book I'm writing.
Confusion falls on his face, and something else falls from his mouth. You're not quite sure what. You want to quote me?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, I've just arrived. I'm having a blast so far. The beer here is decent. And I'm finally getting threatened by someone. Do you have any idea how much I've wanted to do this since I've been locked up in the basement? Long story.
One coughing fit later. Does anyone else want to jump in? Shall I keep it?
You said he's just pointing his finger. He's not actually pointing a weapon?
So his right hand is down on the holster by his hip. It's on the pistol, just sitting there. His left arm, is extended, kind of swaying a bit, but pointing in Edward's general direction. You don't know what this guy has had, but he's had a lot of it.
Marcella realises that no matter how many books you read, they can't all prepare you for such situations like this.
I completely agree with that. The rest of the bar, there's only a few people here. They look like regulars, have stopped. Like, some people are mid-beer swigging and have stopped to watch what's going on. The bartender, though, is carefully watching, but he's not really... He clearly knows this guy, but he's not going to get involved unless someone asks him to. I don't think you understand, trader. This is my place here. You've got to pay something to stay here.
Ooh, extortion. This is very exciting.
Come on, cough up.
Actually, before I cough up, actually, to see, there's something I've wanted to do here the entire time. Hold on. Could you just come in a little closer? I just want to ask you something.
So, he starts to lean forward, kind of loses his balance just a little bit, so his right hand comes off his pistol and onto the table to steady himself. He's leaning in pretty close. You can smell the breath coming from him. It smells like he's just eaten from a garbage dump. And there's some kind of weird bloodshot stuff in his eye, though it looks green.
Okay.
What is it?
Well, I've always wondered if I could knock a man out with one punch. And I punch him in the face.
Okay, make a roll.
I'm taking him by surprise. Do I get a bonus?
You do, yeah.
How much of a bonus? 20? 30? How much of a bonus?
I'm going to say it's plus 20 because you've gone by surprise.
Okay, hold on. 20. Yep, I hit him.
Okay. How much damage do you do to his face?
I'm guessing he hasn't got any armor on his head at all.
No, his body is armored, but his head is not.
Okay, so technically, because I'm punching him, that will be my strength plus 1d5. Nine damage. I should be able to knock him out in one punch, probably.
Are you one punch man?
Or did I take off his wounds?
So, with a mighty crack, your fist connects right with his nose, and he staggers backwards 4 or 5 paces. Marcella and Isabella, you have to kind of slightly move to one side so he can stagger backwards, and he's now leaning back on the bar.
I gently stand up, put my foot on the table, walk over the table, and jump down and walk towards him and crack my knuckles.
Would anyone else like to do something?
This is a good honor duel. I'm gonna watch. Let the captain handle his business. But also make sure nobody else tries to jump.
And I keep
The rest of the bar is quite happy to let this happen. They're not. They're sensible.
Edward's grinning.
My nose! Oh, my nose! I need that! Wait, why do I need that? I
believe it's there for breathing.
Blood and snot and tears are racing down his nose. Oh, you! He swears quite loudly and goes to draw his pistol.
May I take a reflex roll to try and stamp down his arm, or would this be a initiative roll?
I'm going to say you've taken a surprise action, so it's initiative.
Okay, so it's initiative. Okay, so I'll be rolling my reflex. That's my
Everyone
reflex.
who wants to jump in, roll 1d10 and add your agility bonus. So that's the 10s on your agility.
Oopsie. I got a 5. What will he get? Probably more. Oh. He's probably going to get more.
Oh, I suppose I should ask. Hattie and Eris, do you know how to roll on Roll20?
No.
Type /roll and put 1d10.
That's if you want to join in.
As if you want to actually get involved in the fight.
Damn it, press the wrong button. Here we go.
I'm guessing this is a stub pistol, by the way?
Auto pistol.
Auto pistol, okay. So it doesn't do that much damage.
Right,
No,
so
pistol hurts like hell. So, did you manage to roll Hattie? Or did you not want to?
I didn't want to.
Okay. Eris?
no, she's enjoying this far too much.
Okay. In that case, Edward, you're first.
No, I got a 5. He got a 6.
Oh, I've got it wrong. Okay. So,
Aravar, do you want to leap in, or you can let me fight?
Basically, like I said, the only reason why I'm a jump in is if there's a weapon or somebody else kind of like corrals in.
Mhm.
But more or less at this point, I'm just shouting no weapons.
Okay.
in that case, I would suggest you roll initiative because you're ready for action.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can
he's got
just
a
not
13.
take. Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He
Yep.
the reason you don't see it as everything else, he uses what do they call
Use
it?
macros.
He uses macros.
Ah, okay. That confused me a bit then.
Okay, so yeah,
Right.
Joff go first. He can take a shot at me if he wants.
So, on your initiative, you shout, "No weapons!" Actually, I'll let you do that.
Yeah, basically just Put it away, monkey.
So, distorted through the blood and snot, you hear a howl of anger and the phrase, "Monkey!" And the pistol comes out.
Yeah, okay, so he's going to shoot at me, probably.
So,
If he's drawing, I'm drawing.
Oh, actually, I got a 10. I got sorry, I got a 9. Sorry, go on.
anything? Anything extra?
No, no.
Okay.
This will be
Half
point
action
blank.
to draw,
Yeah.
and he's going to shoot.
Is his point blank range, so he does get a plus 30?
Yep.
He is amazingly drunk, though.
Oh, so it's probably more like a plus 10 then. Oh no. I think that means what did he get? He got a
92.
3 more and he would have jammed.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
So, I assume because it's negative, it's failure,
Yeah, it's a failure, yeah.
despite the fact it says degrees of successes.
Mm.
He pulls out the gun from his holster, which is on his hip, swings it in an almost dangerous arc up and around, and quite successfully blows 2 or 3 holes in the ceiling.
Edward just slowly advances and is like adopting like sort of a boxing style.
Okay.
He's like,
You're gonna fight him or hit him?
I am going to punch him in the gut.
Ooh.
I'm going to do a bit of another strike. So, since he's drunk, do I get a bonus or is it just flat roll?
It's just normal roll.
Right, okay, fine. Normal roll. Well, fine. I don't have the best weapon skill, but let's see how I do. Oh, I just miss.
Ooh. You're not quite sure if he tried to dodge it or if he's just drunkenly swaying.
Drunken master style.
Yeah. But your fist grazes past him. Luckily, you don't hit the bar he's leaning on. Kenji is?
My turn?
Yeah.
Well, I have been gripping my bolter for a while, so I guess if I'm raising it, it would be for free, right?
It's already there.
Okay.
Oh.
I think I'll half aim and a single bolt around into the person that attacked my rogue trader, my captain.
Okay. Bearing in mind you are shooting in close combat, so
So you could hit me.
you might hit Edward.
I won't.
I love your confidence. It's inspirational. Go on then, make a roll. This is close quarters.
What's the minus on that?
Oh, sorry. Minus 10 for it being combat, and then it's plus 30 for
Point
it
blank.
being. Sorry. Minus 10 for Edward being close, plus 30 for you being point blank.
And then I get another 10 due to half aim.
Exactly.
So plus 30 in total. Oh yeah, you definitely.
Yeah, I rolled a 4.
That's a 40, so that's a.
And that's a crit.
Oh, does this?
Is this aimed at him in general? Or...
Yeah, just at his body.
Okay. A single piercing crack echoes through the bar as the sound of a bolter discharges, flies through the air, and another crack as it bursts through him and explodes. He slumps defeatedly to the floor. The barman is now covered in his blood.
Is the
There
guy?
is a
Yeah, go on.
There is a resigned from the person behind the bar, knowing he's going to have to clean this up.
Edward rushes to the man who's fallen on the floor and grabs him. Wake up! We're not finished yet! Engius, why did you kill him? I was having fun!
Yeah, he was a threat. He had to be eliminated.
Oh, God. Oh, God, the blood is everywhere.
I just facepalm and sigh.
I turn over to the barman. Tell me, did this man have any family?
As he's using his dirty rag that he cleans glasses with to clean his face of the blood and mucus, he looks at you in surprise. Does he have family?
Yeah, does he have any family?
I assume so.
We must find this family.
Dare I ask why?
Financial compensation. I've killed someone, a supplier. They have to at least be compensated.
And so it begins.
I stand there
bomb.
and ponder.
Oh, go ahead.
I stand there a moment and ponder what book I should quote from next.
He might have been a heretic. You could probably justify it that way. So the barman, who has now cleared his eyes and his face, kind of sheepishly replies, "Yeah, I'll look into that."
Please do. Also, I put some money on the counter. This is financial compensation for the hole in your wall. And in the ceiling, so that wasn't our fault.
He kind of stands there for a second, realizing that you put some money down, kind of palms it quietly under the counter, and then almost hesitantly asks, "So, are you the rogue trader?"
Yes, I am Prince Edward Windsor of the Albyon Dynasty.
He makes the sign of the
I want to put a bit more on
Aquila
that,
across
but
his chest.
sorry, yes, I want to put a bit more on the end of that, but I don't quite have any accomplishments yet. So, who are you?
I'm Demetrius, sir.
Nice to meet you, Demetrius. Lovely to meet you.
I think I've actually got something for you.
Ooh.
I was told by Little Bear that he wanted to meet you.
Who?
Little Bear. He's in the back room. Come on, I'll show you.
Oh, awesome. Come on, guys. Adventure is afoot. Edward walks forward and then stops. Oh, God. He looks down and his foot's in the hole that Engius blew in the sock guy. Ew. Yuck. Ugh.
I'm not cleaning that boot, sir. You can do it yourself.
No, I will do it. I've got something somewhere.
He points you to a door in the back of the room, and most of the patrons go back to where they are. A few grumble about the smell of the decaying body lying against the bar. You are taken into this room. The back room of the bar is much more luxurious, with a giant glass wall illuminating the area with the light from the sun. There's a single circular table for you all. Sitting at this table is a gentleman of gigantic proportions. You think if he stood in a doorway, that doorway would not exist anymore. Full of muscles and tattoos. As Demetrius walks you all through the door, kind of shepherding you through, he goes, "That's Little Bear." Little Bear stands up, and he just keeps going up and up and up, and your necks crane to see this guy.
Edward doesn't crane his neck.
What, you stare at his manly chest?
I stare at his manly chest, walk forward and offer my hand. Hello, Little Bear. I'm Edward. Pleasure to meet you.
Stares him straight in the nips.
I mean, he does have clothing on, but yes. Right, let me just bring that character up. You should now all see a picture of him. Little Bear has the look of a gang member. someone who's been fighting and scraping for his entire life. His arms are easily the size of some of your heads.
Mm. So he's sort of like Edward in that regards.
About how tall would you say this gentleman is?
Says 7 feet.
Easily 7 foot.
Oh. He's only slightly taller than me.
Ooh. Okay.
He's a lot taller than Edward, who's only 6.
But he's 3 of me wide, so there's that.
Yeah, he's a pretty beastly gentleman. And he has a shotgun slung across his back, and he has a giant axe lying on the table in front of him. He kind of looks across the room, eyeing each of you up carefully, and goes, "You're the rogue trader.
I'm the
The
rogue
one
trader.
everyone's talking about."
Ooh, everyone. Who's everyone?
The little bear looks over to Demetrius and says, "We'll have drinks for all of them," and then starts gesturing to the seats. "Please, sit down, sit down."
Of course, of course.
Demetrius scuttles off to get something and closes the door behind him.
Well, Edward quickly walks along and takes up a seat, crosses one leg over the other, drapes his arms across the back of the chair and smiles quite across to a little bear. Not quite at all intimidated by the height at all, like he's seen that quite a bit.
Excellent. How about everyone else? What's happening?
Urivar's actually going to stand behind Edward.
Okay.
So is then just to observe the room and everyone in it.
Currently, it's your party and Little Bear.
Marcella is eyeing up Little Bear, again wanting to refer back to her anything that she studied in the past about them. But then she's also kind of a bit disbelieving, yet also realizing that those kind of things do exist.
Okay. Isabella?
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay standing, keeping an eye on him and the door.
Okay. From what you know, Marcella, you're a bit limited on the exact nature of football, but you're pretty certain that there's a large number of gang members who live in various gangs around here. You don't know if this guy is important, but he's obviously important enough to be in the back room with you.
Yeah.
So he sits down, joining Edward, in a much less flamboyant pose. I'll get down to it then. We need your help. I represent the Pit of Voices, the astropaths around here.
Ah, the psychic telephone company.
Yeah, those guys. A bit of a motley crew. They're good employers. We need your help finding one of them who's been lost.
One who's gotten lost. Whereabouts?
One sec. Heimrad, one of the apprentice astropaths. 2 of her sisters are currently in the Pit of Voices, looking for her. You don't really know where the Pit of Voices is, but it's nearby. He stands up. Yeah, I think she's in the accursed domain. Demise. Something called Tremor. It's further across from here.
Wait, is this...
My employer wants...
No, you first. You first.
My employer wants you to find her.
Okay,
I don't
so...
know why she's there.
Okay, hold on. Just to clarify. Is this on footfall?
No.
Oh.
The accursed Demise is a region of space far to the west, well known for being uncharted and full of aliens.
How dangerous is this? Edward says, leaning in.
Well, she's not that dangerous herself. She's quite nice. But the accursed area? Tricky.
Edward at first looks a little put off by the fact just hearing she's not difficult, and then suddenly he hears the words, but the accursed terrain is tricky, and he goes, how tricky?
Well, you'll probably die before you even get there.
How so?
Well, you don't know much about this place, do you, sir?
Not at all. Please inform me.
Right. The expanse is large, sir. We're right next to something called the Cauldron.
Oh yeah, big warp storm.
Yeah, big warp storm. Vicious. Chews up ships and eats them out, spits them back out.
Hmm?
Somewhere to the west of that is the accursed Demise. It's difficult. Lots of people go there searching for all sorts of things and rarely come back out.
What kind of things?
Mostly xenotech, sir.
What kind
He
of
looks over to Aravar. There's a few Eldar things over there. Plus, well, the shadows in the darkness, the traders of the night, those people.
Alright, let me establish this quickly. You're saying you want us to go to this particular planet in the middle of a dangerous area of space filled with Xenos technology, which has led to the deaths of hundreds of individuals, if not thousands, and in turn, want us to return with this woman safe and sound.
He nods mutely as if you've just parroted what he said.
Right, let's go. Let's get going. Oh yeah. Right, let's get going, guys. He stands up.
You'll take the job, sir.
Well, if it's dangerous, it's exciting, and in turn, I get to look at really weird stuff. Yes, and yeah.
But you might die, sir.
Oh, indubitably.
Or worse.
I look at my crew, and look back at him. I look at my crew, and then back at him. We got this!
I see the rumours about the rogue traders are true, sir. You really will, well, stand up against anything.
Indeed we will. And as I start heading towards the door, I stop. Wait, and I turn around, while my legs turn in the air, and look. How much are we getting paid for this?
Well, let's just say the Pit of Voices will be suitably appreciable with gifts.
Let's spin back around. Okay, bye. See you in a bit, little bat.
Before you go, sir.
Edward sticks his head back through the door. Yep.
Can I ask one personal favour?
Edward rolls his eyes in sort of a thinking pose. Depends what it is.
I need you to help me and a few mates leave Footfall. Doesn't really matter where we go, just as long as it's not here.
Edward looks at his crew, like just trying to read what they think.
How does everyone react?
What's in it for us?
For helping my mates get out of here. You can see on his, like, he hadn't considered this, and he's like patting himself in his pockets to think what he could give you that would be worth it. We don't have much, sir. We're hard fighters, though. We'll make sure no one hurts you. Or we can work on the ship. You have ships, right? That's why you're a rogue trader.
Indeed, I have a ship. The fastest ship in the galaxy. The dramatic compensation, Edward says as his eyes bulge slightly.
There is a smirk underneath the muscle. I've got a few mates who desperately need to get out of here. For reasons. The Pit of Voices isn't looking after us anymore. We can be good gunners, or perhaps just stop people from attacking us.
Define a few.
Well, and he visibly becomes hesitant at this point. A few of us, sir.
My ship doesn't have much space.
About 50 of us. So
Oh, okay, then that's enough.
that's enough.
Oh, bleeding heck, my ship's got
Sir.
a crew of a few thousand!
Sir, you honour us.
Indeed.
A rogue trader of your caliber. Taking us on. We'll do the best we can. I shall gather everyone.
Huzzah! Also,
Runs.
Edward says, poking his head back through the... He goes through the door and pokes it back. But there is one payment I must extract from a man of your particular size.
He stops in his tracks. Yes, sir?
You and me are having an arm wrestling contest once you're on board the ship.
Of course, sir. I'll see to it.
Edward goes through the door. And then comes back and goes, "Come on, lads!" I say to the crew. Am I being a bit too much? I can calm this down, by the way.
No, you're doing fine.
I mean, I
It's good.
I don't want to take away... Because I'm kind of being a bit the centre of attention. I don't want to let other people not have a go.
But everyone else,
Well,
I'd
I follow
recommend
you through.
you jump in. Like, if you want to say something, just jump right in.
Well, I follow you because I'm I'm looking forward to the sort of the
Antics?
application of my learning towards the antics that will occur, and also just the fact that I'm bound by that family honour as well. So I'm kind of, it's like two things in one.
Oh.
I was like, the only thing I wanted to do is in the room previous, so on the way back to the ship, I suppose.
Yep.
Which is more or less just like walking past the dude that was shot, like knowing that he can't hear me, just kind of bend down going, I tried. And then stepping over him as though he's in the way.
The severely mutilated corpse does not respond.
Yep. Oh, I didn't expect him to. I'm just saying, like, I tried.
You'd be worried
Like-
if he did.
There was a little bit of honor there, and then, well, it was ended very quickly.
Oh, okay. On the way back to as we're going on the way back to the ship, I do some motioning. All right, lads. Before we leave, shopping. Does anyone need to buy anything?
I can think of a thing, sir.
Ooh, what is it?
Chameleon?
There are plenty of shops and disreputable people you can buy pretty much anything from.
Ooh, delightful. Yeah, I know what I want to buy. I would recommend just limiting it to one item per person so we don't get bogged down.
Damn it.
Depend.
Was that you had a shopping
You
list?
can buy items in bulk.
Actually, I can think of two things, Edward. One that would benefit me, one that would benefit lottie-dottie everybody.
What's la-di-da-di, everybody?
Possibly chart to get to place. There have been people that have made it back, so I mean, it is a possible thing.
Edward frowns and goes, "But that requires us dealing with the navigators, and those guys are weird."
You do have a navigator on your ship.
I know, and we don't know what the character is, but I find most navigators weird. Because navigators add weird around Edward because of his particular condition, which we'll get to later.
So, who knows what they want, who wants something, and who doesn't want something?
I know what I want.
I would like to try something.
Oh, by the way, who's the seneschal?
Currently, you don't have one.
Oh, we do. Who chose? Thought someone chose to be the seneschal.
No one chose.
We don't have one.
Okay, never mind. I'm not making that roll. Okay, so I guess we're buying stuff then. So I want something, Aravar wants something, Indus wants something. Isabella or Marcella, do you want anything?
Yeah, I could do with another essential robe. That's always, you can never do without too many of those.
You want to go clothes shopping?
Mhm.
Awesome.
Don't knock it until you've tried it.
Edward will probably join you in some particular regard. Because Edward enjoys,
Okay.
well, he enjoys fancy, he's a rogue trader.
So, for Isabella and, for Eris and Fahati, in order to save time, there's something called an acquisition test. Rather than you going around and talking to every single person who might sell it, you do a roll. Varies based on how easy the item is to find, how big the place is, etc., and how much money you guys have got. Zaku, what is your profit rating so far?
My profit rating, I jot it down somewhere.
And by the way, Hattie has put it up 1, but I have written that down.
I believe so.
Hattie has money.
It was.
Makes sense from real life.
So we had 48 on the ship. It was 44, I think it was, for the Rogue Trader Dynasty. So it's 45 now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's 45. And I would like to try and find. Let me find the name of it because I've got a list of all the items in the game. It's a shield, so it's going to be a little hard to get a hold of.
You're pretty certain if you ask the right people, they'll know some guy in a back alley somewhere who can give it to you. The shield, obviously.
Just trying to remember where it is actually. Is it in weapons or is it in?
Shields are
Somebody else do it.
under armor. Okay, who knows what they want and are ready?
Yep.
Sweet. Tell me.
Chameleon Cloak, it's a rare item.
Okay.
Just a single one.
So, -10 for a rare item. You only want 1, so it's +30. Is it good craftsmanship or anything like that?
Just common.
Okay, so plus nothing. You get a +10 because Footfall has loads of people and shady business.
So +30 altogether.
Yes, exactly right. You need to get under 45.
Should be under 75 if we're at, or if it's +30.
Sorry, my mistake. 75. I mean, the base
Nailed
was 45. So, you ask around some of the areas. There's quite a few markets, open areas where people hawk their wares, all sorts of things. One particular market has a stall with a young girl, probably 10 or something, a vast array of cloths and fabrics and such forth. She also has Chameleon Cloak, which you proceed to buy from her.
Hooray!
Okay, who's next?
I found what I want to get.
Shall we do... was it Marcella who wanted the cloak?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be going along with her as well to buy the clothes.
Do you happen to know the available? Well, it's going to be plentiful.
Hold on.
Or maybe common.
Depends on the clothing and adornments. Yes, clothing and adornments. There's 4 types. There's common, merchant, noble lord, and noble type clothing. They have no stat bonuses, but they depends. What kind of clothing do you want? Do you want noble or noble
Yes. Noble.
lord? Noble is just a scarce roll. Do you want the quality improved at all?
Yeah. Yep.
Because I think if we get a good
There's-
or best quality, like God can decide if that's got any special stats at all.
There's 4 levels of clothing based on how well it's made. Poor means it's not really that good. Common means it's average. Good means someone has taken some time with this. And best means, well, it's the best. Like
It's the best
blind
around.
monks in the Himalayas have spent decades perfecting their craft to build it or something. You get the idea. So, do you just want something normal? Or would you like a little bit of flair?
Flair would be good.
So that's a good or best.
Okay, scarce is +0. Good is -10. Football is +10, and you're only getting 1, so it's +30. So a total of +30.
So you need to get up to a 75, under a 75.
So rolling in roll 20, as we said before, is /roll, and then 1D100.
Just that?
Yeah.
Or was there anything else? Okay.
You get it.
3.
Yay!
In probably the nicer areas of town, there are a few merchant clans, people who have contacts across the whole sector, perhaps knowing some fine gentlemen or ladies somewhere. They know the royalty of the next sector. And yes, they happen to have just what you're looking for. Please mark it on your sheet.
While we're here, Edward would like to try and acquire some clothing for himself, or would this take up my shield roll?
You would like what?
I would like to get a, what's it called? I want to get some clothing, but can I also do that and get some, get the refractor field?
I'm going to put a penalty on... If you do both of them, I'm going to put a penalty on both of them.
Okay, I'll just do the refractor field then. Okay, so the refractor field is very rare.
Oh, -20.
-20. But I just want to get a few.
1.
About,
Oh, a few.
just so I've got a luck if they break. So
Not to share amongst your crew?
backup.
Okay.
Let's say, how much is a 10?
To get 10 of them,
Yeah.
it's a +10 rather than a +30.
Oh, it's a +10. Okay, so I've got to get a... How much in total then? Under 34, I think.
So, in total, it's +0,
Oh, so go down to...
assuming you're getting it as common.
I am going to push for a good quality one.
Ooh, -10.
So I've got to go under 35. 3, 2, 1, and
Ah,
I am going to fate point that.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Yes!
hey.
You search high and low across this forsaken little rock pile. Everyone you talk to raises an eyebrow and questions what a refractor field is. You describe it in intimate detail about how it works and what it does, and you get people who just don't know. Until you stumble across one old gentleman rocking in a chair somewhere next to a series of fish and other barely edible wares. He knows who might have something. He passes you along to a rather shady gentleman who does have a good quality refractor field. Or 10 of them, should I say.
Edward looks down at them, because usually refractor fields come in a very, like, elaborate, like, sort of jewelry and chest pieces.
They look like the real deal, to be honest. They're not in the chest pieces anymore, but you're not quite sure you want to know where he got them from.
Edward just grins, like, goes, "Thank you, my good man," shakes his hand and gives him the money.
A grin that is missing most of its teeth responds back.
And as Edward got his conversion field,
Refractor.
I ask him, a refractor. I want to ask him if it's a conversion field.
Conversion field. Okay, do you happen to know how rare it is?
I can get that, because it's right next
Near
to
unique.
Near unique.
Oh, okay. -50.
But
Are you just
30.
getting one?
Yeah.
So, +30 for only one. Any craftsmanship bonuses?
Go on.
Okay, and +10 for football, because everyone here knows someone. So, in total, it's -20.
So you've got it under a 24.
25.
25, yeah, sorry. Oh.
I'll reroll it.
Oh,
Oh,
you got it.
Oh, that was
24
close.
is enough.
Yeah, 24 is enough because it's fish eye. Just enough.
So, you spend quite a lot of time checking through contacts, people who might know these kind of things, obvious tech heads, maybe a few black market dealers, and you just can't find anything. Until, well, you get approached by someone who looks like they're in the Imperial Army. And he kind of sidles up to you, cloak opening. He goes, "Hey, I heard you wanted one of these." He has a conversion field.
I do.
Congratulations, you've paid for it, you've gained it. It looks like the real deal. You don't have a clue what he's going to do with that money, but I don't think you want to know.
No, I don't care.
Excellent. Is everyone done? Is everyone happy?
Anyone else want to get anything?
Nope.
Edward would like to go try and buy some elaborate clothing, but I'll take that -10 now.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said then.
Edward would like to go find some elaborate clothing, but I'll take that -10 for that.
Okay.
So Edward is going to try and get some noble lord, which is very rare.
Okay. Plus 10 for footfall, plus 30 because it's only one.
No, it's not one. It's a small collection.
Oh, okay. Roughly how many are we talking about?
50.
That's a +0.
So it's a +10. And
So -10, +10, +0, and then depending on how available.
Edward's going to look for a good quality one.
Ooh. So you're now at -10.
So I've got to get under a 35.
Exactly.
3, 2, 1, let's go. No, I don't find them.
No.
And on that
There
bombshell,
just aren't the right noble people around here. Like, you don't quite understand why they are so unwilling. I mean, it's almost like this place is dirt poor. Don't have any good clothing here.
I have to go back to Scintilla.
Maybe later.
Maybe later. Anyway, I'm going to stop recording for a second now, just so I can start a new bracket, so I don't overload when I upload this to YouTube. 3, 2, 1.